Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to talk about the next 5 Unit 11 vocab words, and we're going to go into Shurley Chapter 11, Lesson 4. So we're skipping Lesson 2 and 3 because they basically cover a lot of the things we've already talked about this year. Nothing really new, no material that you shouldn't already have a pretty firm grasp of. I was going to post a Chapter 11, Lesson 1 exercise today, but I think I'm going to hold off and do that early next week because I know a lot of us struggled a little bit with quotation marks from chapter 10. So I'm going to get some extra material and post it for you guys to review. I want you to look through that. We'll probably do some more exercises with quotation marks down the line. So make sure you look through that, but no Shurley exercise today. Like I said, we'll get into that next week with predicate nouns and all that sort of thing. But with that said, let's get into the vocab. So the sixth word is dumbfounded. Wait, no, I did the first 10 yesterday, didn't I? I believe I did. So the 11th word is where we're at, actually. Sorry. 11th word, meteoric. So meteoric, that word meteor is in there. So a meteor, you think about something moving really fast, shooting across the sky like a shooting star. That's kind of the idea you want in your head when you talk about something being meteoric. Meteoric is an adjective used to describe something. It's usually something that moves really quickly, something that comes and then it's gone, that sort of thing. So this is used oftentimes to describe someone famous, their career maybe. So you could say he had a meteoric rise to stardom. So he got famous all of a sudden, and then he was the most famous person ever. And usually it implies that that fame went away pretty quickly too. Like if someone becomes really, really famous for a couple years and then you don't hear anything about them anymore, you would say they had a meteoric career. It was kind of really quick, here and gone. You can use this to describe the speed with which something moves, but that's kind of a weird usage that you don't see very much. Generally, you're going to use it, like I said, to describe someone's career, someone's talent, something like that, and how quickly they acquire something. So it's kind of a figurative usage most of the time. So it's like someone's career or someone's stardom, fame, taking off like a meteor really quickly. Word 12 is parody. So if you guys watch a lot of YouTube and things, you may be familiar with parodies. A parody is something making fun of something else. Usually it's imitating it, kind of a copy, but done in kind of a silly way. So if one of you dresses up as me and gets up and shoots a video teaching class the way I would, but you make it kind of goofy and you exaggerate all the awkward things I do, that would be a parody of me, of my teaching style, which would be pretty funny. If you want to do that, feel free. And this can be a noun, like making a parody of something. That's a noun. Or you could use it as a verb to parody something. So you could make a parody of my teaching, or you could parody my teaching. Either way, same meaning, just one's a noun, one's a verb. Pretty simple word to use, I think. Word 13 is prevail. So to prevail, that's a verb. It's to win, to triumph over something, to succeed. So if you're competing with someone in basketball and you beat them, you've prevailed over the other team. If you make 100 on a test, you prevailed over your test. So it doesn't necessarily have to be competition. It's just winning at something, succeeding at something, maybe beating your opponent, prevailing. If you're really sick, like if you get the coronavirus, hope not, and you beat it, you live through it, you have prevailed over that illness. Okay, so again, pretty simple word, I think. Word 14 is relic. This is a noun, so a relic implies something ancient, kind of like an antique, something that you would find that's really old and usually has some kind of value. So if you find a painting that Leonardo da Vinci did in your mom's attic or something one day, that would be a relic that would probably be worth a lot of money. If you find a piece of really ancient, like Native American pottery or something, that's a relic of an older civilization. So it's like an antique, like an artifact, that sort of thing, relic. It's always a noun. You wouldn't say I relicked something. You'd say like I found a relic from someone in my mom's attic or something like that. Word 15 is rend. A lot of you were really confused yesterday by the word rent, R-E-N-T, and choosing the right word. Rent is the past tense of rend. And rend is a verb. It's to tear something, to split it. So if I take an old T-shirt and I rip it in half, I rend that T-shirt. If I did that yesterday, I rent a T-shirt yesterday. Okay, so that's the past tense. It's just to tear something, usually to tear it in half. It's like it's not just like picking at it. It's like a violent, like ripping it apart, a kind of motion. So that's to rend something. All right. Again, I think this unit's pretty easy. But if you have any questions on any of those 5 words, let me know. I'll go over the next 5 or the last 5 next week. Synonyms and antonyms are up today. So, and again, I'm sorry, I don't know if I've said this, I'm sorry for this being a little bit later today and the exercises being a little bit later. My wife's car wouldn't crank this morning when she got off work. Her battery was dead. I had to go pick her up right when I would normally be making assignments and doing videos. So sorry, life happens. But synonyms and antonyms are posted. When I posted it, I posted something that said, hey, be really careful with your spelling going forward, because I've warned you guys about this a couple times. Spelling is going to count. Now, if you accidentally put an S on the end of the word, make it plural, yeah, tell me, I'll fix it. But otherwise, I'm not going in and checking for spelling like I have been. Okay, I've gone through and I've checked everybody's, whether you told me or not, to see if you spelled it correctly, and if you didn't, I gave you credit. Going forward, I'm not doing that, okay? And that's not because it takes me a lot of time. It doesn't take all that much time. It is a little bit annoying, but it's because learning a word and learning to spell it go together, okay? If you can't spell a word, do you really know how to use it? That's a question I would have. And they're in your vocab book. I post the vocab pages online. There's no excuse for misspelling one of your vocab words, okay? Now, if you try to make it plural and you make it plural incorrectly, like if it's supposed to be prize, like P-R-I-E-S, and you make it P-R-Y-S or something, sure, let me know. I'll probably give you credit for something like that. But if it's just you've just misspelled the base word from, laziness, not checking over your mistakes, don't message me about it, because I'm not going to give you credit, okay? It's got to be something pretty substantial for me to give you credit on it. All right, so let's do Chapter 11, Lesson 4. So this talks about noun jobs, which is something I've talked about before. Basically, there are a lot of different parts of speech, or a lot of different jobs that a noun can perform within a sentence, okay? But it's still that same part of speech. It's still a noun. So you're most familiar probably with subject nouns, like the dog barks. Dog is a subject noun. It's the subject of that sentence. It's what's performing the action, the verb in the sentence. Dog barks. Pretty simple sentence. It's pattern 1. But you should also be familiar with direct objects, indirect objects, objects of the preposition, and now predicate nouns. Those are all still nouns, okay? So a direct object, like if the dog bit me, okay? Dog's subject noun, bit's our verb, that's the action. So who was bit, okay? Or whom was bitten, if you want to be really grammatically correct. Me, it's an object pronoun, it's in the object of the sentence, it's following from that verb bit me is the direct object. It's still a noun, okay? The part of speech is noun, the job is direct object. If I say I baked my mom a cake, okay? I is the subject noun or subject pronoun in that sentence, okay? It's the subject, it's the thing doing whatever the action is. I baked, the verb, my mom a cake. Now, what's being baked? Obviously not my mom, that's pretty gruesome. Cake. I'm baking a cake, so that's the direct object. It's receiving the action of the verb, okay? And yes, this is a little bit of indirect object review, although most of us are pretty good on those, I think. So for whom was the cake baked? Mom. Indirect object. And again, indirect's always going to come between verb and direct object. But all three of those words, I, mom, and cake, are nouns, okay? They're all nouns, regardless, or pronouns, nouns. Pronouns just a subtype of noun. But they all operate as nouns. They can all fill different roles in sentences, but it's any time a person, place, thing, or idea shows up in your sentence, noun. And then the new thing we're going over, predicate nouns. So again, this is the only case that you guys are going to be dealing with this year where a subject noun or subject pronoun will show up in the predicate of a sentence, will show up after the verb. So, and again, I'm going to post an exercise on this on Monday, so listen carefully to this part. If I say you are a student, and I ask you to find all the nouns in that sentence, all the persons, places, things, and ideas in that sentence. You is obviously one. You're a person, unless you're showing this video to your dog, and then in that case I'm talking to a dog. But anyway, you are a person, and if I say you are a student, student's obviously someone, a thing, a person. So both of those are nouns. You is the subject pronoun. You should know that. But then we have to look at our verb in the sentence. Are is our verb. We don't have any action, right? You're not doing anything. You just are something. So it's a linking verb, which we should be familiar with. We did linking verbs. So you are, what are you? Student. Okay, so student then is the predicate noun, which I think we label PN or PRN in Shurley. It is PRN, predicate noun, and it refers back to you. So you, student, same person, connected by are, linking verb. You are a student. Student connects back, subject pronoun, predicate noun, okay? I hope that's pretty straightforward. If you'll, this probably sounds a lot like direct objects, okay? If I said you threw the ball, threw is an action verb. What did you throw? Ball, direct object, okay? You is still the subject pronoun. You are a student. I could have been really goofy and said you are a ball. That would be strange. You are a student, okay? Same sentence structure. The only thing I've changed is are student. Like you threw a ball, you are a student. If it's a linking verb, are, that student part then becomes a predicate noun, okay? Like if I said, again, the example that uses pronouns, if I said, who broke the vase? And you said, it was I. That is grammatically correct. It sounds goofy and old-fashioned, but it's correct grammar. It was me wouldn't be correct, even if it sounds better to us as Southerners. It was I. Was is a linking verb, right? You're not doing anything. You're saying it was I. Like it, the person who broke the vase, was I. Predicate noun. It's using that subject form, I, because it's a predicate noun and it refers back to the subject. That's why it uses the subject form. So again, you are a student. I am a teacher. That is a dog. All those things, predicate noun, because it refers back to the subject and ties back into it. It's connected by a linking verb. If you have a linking verb as your verb in your sentence, it's going to be a predicate noun. If you have an action verb, it's going to be a direct object, okay? The only thing you need to look out for when we have direct objects is, do we have an indirect object, right? So I mailed my cousin a letter, okay? I, subject pronoun. Mailed is our verb. What was mailed? Letter, direct object. To whom was the letter mailed? Cousin, indirect object. Always between the verb and the direct object. But the main thing I want you to take away from Shurley chapter 11, lesson 4 is that all those things, subject pronouns, subject nouns, predicate nouns, direct objects, indirect objects, also objects of the preposition. I forgot to mention that one. So if I say, I am from Alabama, okay? Alabama then, because from is our prepositional phrase, from Alabama. Alabama is the object of the preposition. It's still a noun. It's a place, okay? If I said, I am out of milk, which I'm not. I went and got some yesterday. Hopefully I didn't get infected. If I said, I am out of milk, prepositional phrase. Milk is the object of the preposition. It's obviously still a noun. It's still a thing, right? So objects of the preposition, direct objects, indirect objects, predicate nouns, subject noun or pronoun, anything like that, they all are still nouns, okay? Nouns or pronouns. It does not matter where they show up in the sentence. A noun can show up anywhere in the sentence, okay? It can be the first word, it can be the last word, it can be anything in between, but they can perform different jobs, okay? So I want you to be familiar with both of those things, both that it is a noun and that it can operate in different ways. It can be used differently. But if it is a person, a place, a thing, or an idea, if you look at a word in a sentence and you say, hey, that could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing, or it could be an idea. If it could be any of those four things, it's a noun, okay? And then it's up to you to figure out what job it's performing. I'll probably post an exercise maybe probably Wednesday of next week since we're off Monday. Probably Wednesday of next week where I give you some sentences and I say, what job does this noun perform in this sentence? And you'll have to say, probably 4 or 5 options. It'll be like, is it a subject noun? Is it a predicate noun? A direct object, an indirect object? Is it the object of the preposition? And you'll have multiple choice and you'll have to choose those. Now, I don't mind you using your book anytime I post a Shurley exercise online. I think that's useful. I don't mind you pulling up my videos and watching them over again if it helps you with that, because I talk you through examples and things. And if you ever need any extra material, like I said, I'm going to post something on quotation marks pretty soon here. But if you ever need any extra material on any of this, let me know. I'll find something online or I'll make something up myself if I can't find anything that works. And I'll post it online for you to look at. This video ran longer than I thought it would. But anyway, good luck with your synonyms and antonyms today. Let me know if you got any issues, you need me to answer any questions, anything like that. See you guys.